Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm excited to show you the Cricut Infusible ink transfer sheets on one of the Cricut baby bodysuit blanks. Now, as I've explained in the other infusible ink videos, and I will link those in the description below the video if you have missed those, but Cricut has created an entire suite of products that work together to give you the most vibrant, the best result as possible. So it really helps if you work within their suite of products, and that's what we're doing today. We're using their inks on one of their blanks. Now, this is a 3 to 6 month baby bodysuit, and you will know that this is compatible with the infusible inks by the emblem here. All of the infusible ink compatible blanks will have this emblem right here that tells you that they are compatible and they will work together. These products will not work on a 100% cotton shirt or baby onesie or anything like that. So you do want to make sure that you do have something that is compatible with the infusible ink transfer sheets. These are just 3 samples of the ones that I have. These are going to be available in Michaels Online starting June 16th, 2019, and in store on June 21st, 2019. And I will have a link below the video for the Michaels Infusible ink website so that you can take a look at what they've got up and ready for you to take a look at. So today we're going to be using this one right here. So I'm going to put these aside. And we're going to open up our onesie to get that ready. Put that aside. All right, so this is just a little itty bitty baby onesie, and I happen to have a brand new nephew who just arrived, so we're going to be making him a cute little onesie. Now, what you're going to need to create one of the Cricut apparel blanks is you're going to need your EasyPress 1 or 2. The original one will work. Your temperature and timings will be a little bit different, and I'll show you how to check that out. It's really helpful to have the Cricut EasyPress mats. You're going to need a piece of butcher paper. When you get your infusible ink transfer sheets, if you get a 4-pack, there's 4 sheets of butcher paper inside with the 4-pack, and in the 2-packs there are 2 sheets. So you're going to need the butcher paper. You're going to need a piece of cardstock. Cricut recommends you use an 80-pound white cardstock. I don't think the weight is critical, but you just need a nice weight white cardstock. You're going to need a piece of that. You're going to need some tweezers, scissors. You can use the Cricut Infusible Infusible ink heat transfer tape if you feel like you need some extra protection to keep it from moving. You're going to need a lint roller and, of course, your Cricut. And you're going to use the green standard grip mat to cut the transfer sheets. So let's go ahead and open this up, and I will show you how a brand new box of this comes, because it's a little bit different than we're used to. This comes pre-wrapped. So let's open this up. Oh, it's got some more tape on it. It's nice and sealed up, and that helps protect the product. And I would recommend keeping it in this box when you're done with it. Don't leave it just out in a drawer. But it comes in this it's sort of a vacuum packed plastic dark wrap. And I don't think that you have to keep it inside of that. I haven't been, and I've been it's been working fine, but you're going to open that up. And inside, you will reveal your ink transfer sheets. Now, you want to touch the ink transfer sheets as little as possible. You want to make sure that your hands are nice and dry and free of any lotions or oil. That can transfer to the ink sheets, and that will give you it could affect your result. So you want to make sure and touch it as little as possible. You're going to have to touch it some, but again, just make sure your hands are clean and dry. So we are going to use, there are 4 sheets in here, and as well as your butcher paper. And I think we're going to use the one that looks like denim, which is this one. And we're going to use the red. So I'll pull those out and put the rest aside to put back in the box. And I've already got a sheet of butcher paper out, so I'm going to put that back. Now, another thing that you need to know, the butcher paper, I do mean butcher paper. You can't use parchment paper, wax paper, freezer paper. They do want you to use butcher paper. It has a different absorbency factor than the others, and it will give you the best results. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and prepare our design. Now, I have gone into Design Space and I have uploaded a design. I'm going to use this future ladies man. I think this is going to be really cute for this onesie. And again, we're going to cut this on a green standard grip mat. So I'll get this out here. So once we're in Design Space, we're just going to click Make It. And you want to be sure that if you have any wording or a design that is it's going to make a difference whether it turns one way or the other, you do want to make sure that you mirror your design just like you were doing an iron-on. As the bow tie really doesn't matter, but I'm just going to always get in the practice of mirroring when I'm using the ink transfer sheets. So with that being said, we're going to click Continue. We're going to select our Cricut device. I'm using my Cricut Maker. You can use the Cricut Explorer. You're going to cut this with the fine point blade, so the Cricut Explorer works just fine. If you have the Cricut Explorer, you're going to put the knob on Custom, and Cricut Makers, you're just going to click on Browse All Materials, and then you're going to type in Infusible in the search bar, click Enter. Oops, help if I wrote it right. Infusible. And you can see right here there is a Cricut Infusible ink transfer sheet. You're just going to click on that and click Done. And again, it's going to tell you to put the fine point blade in. Now, when you are working with the ink transfer sheets, the Infusible ink transfer sheets, you're going to put it pretty side up and the liner side down. The liner side is the side with the grid. This is your transfer sheet. So you're going to put this pretty side up. So we're cutting the red wording. So I'm going to put the red down first. I'm putting it right side up. And you might want to cut this down so that you're not touching it as much. But for the sake of the video, we're just going to go ahead and put this down. My hands are nice and dry. I haven't put any lotion on this morning. I'm going to load that into the machine and let that do its thing. And then we're going to click the C button. Okay, our design is cut out. We're going to remove it from the mat. I like to turn it over and remove the mat from the product. That always gives you the least amount of wrinkling. And then I'm going to cut this out. And then we're just going to, I cut a small piece out for the bow. And again, you're going to put it pretty side up, transfer sheet side down. Make sure that is stuck down well. And we'll go ahead and cut out the bow tie. Okay, so we have our wording and our bow tie. Now, when you weed the Infusible ink transfer sheet, it's a little bit different than weeding vinyl. This is almost like a papery feeling. So what you want to do is sort of roll it, and you will see that the pieces sort of pop up. Let me see if I can get it so that you can see it. And the best way I found to do the corner is to just kind of roll the corner back and forth, and then you can get the Infusible ink transfer sheet to separate from the backing. And then this weeds very easily. I'm trying to do this without getting my fingers in the way. So you're just going to weed away the part that you don't want, just like you were doing vinyl. And again, it's like a papery feeling. It's not what you're used to. So just make sure that you carefully weed it. So I've got a little piece right here. You can use your tweezers. And again, you want to touch it as little as possible, but I can just kind of bend it and get that piece to pop up, and then it pops right out. Get the middle of my letters. You can use your fingers. But if you just roll it a little bit, those pieces will pop right up and you can grab them. All right, so we've got that part weeded. I'm going to go ahead and weed the bow tie out. So again, I can just kind of crack this a little bit, and I can see where that bow tie is, and then I can remove the pieces around it. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is go to help.cricut.com, and you're going to see this page come up right here. You're going to click on Infusible Ink, and you're going to see right here that they have all kinds of help topics for you. I like to click see all 12 articles, and then right here it gives you all of the instructions for use with the Infusible Ink pens and markers on the Cricut totes, the ceramic coasters, the cork coasters, that's the square ones, and the apparel. And it also has Infusible Ink transfer sheet instructions for each of those. So we are doing the baby bodysuit. So we're going to click right here, how to use Infusible Ink transfer sheets with the Cricut apparel blanks. That's going to apply to the Cricut bodysuits and the Cricut t-shirts. So we're going to click on that one. And I suggest that you read through all of these instructions before you begin applying or attempting to apply your design to your apparel. It's very simple to do, but there are certain steps that you need to follow. So make sure that you read through those instructions and that you understand everything that you need to do as you're going along. The other site that you're going to need is go to cricut.com/heat guide. And that's going to take you to this Cricut EasyPress heat transfer guide. Now this is not just for Infusible inks, this is for all of the iron-on settings with the Cricut EasyPress as well as the new Infusible ink products. But here you're going to see you can use the Cricut EasyPress 2 or the Cricut EasyPress 1. It's important that you pick the right one for what you're using. They do have different temperatures for various products. So I'm using the EasyPress 2. I've got that one selected. We're going to click on heat transfer material. And down here at the bottom, you can see the newly added Infusible ink transfer sheet or the Infusible ink markers. We're going to use transfer sheet. And then that gives us a choice of a baby bodysuit, a tote bag, a square coaster, ceramic coaster, or t-shirt. We're doing the baby bodysuit, so I'm going to pick that. And you're going to click apply. And you can see that I now need to set my EasyPress to 385 for 40 seconds. I've already had that warming up for us, so that is good to go. It also goes through, again, the supplies that you need and the preparation and the application. But again, I recommend that you go over to the help guide and let this walk you through the steps, as this has a little bit more information. That's sort of a quick reference guide over there on the heat guide settings. So find out what your temperature is, get your EasyPress, heat it up, and ready for the application for whatever you're doing. Again, if you're using the EasyPress 1, your times and temperatures are going to be a little bit different than if you're using the EasyPress 2. So make sure you check that out. So let's go back over to our instructions, and we are going to begin the process of applying our design to our onesie. So the first thing it tells you about is cutting, and we've already done that. It's telling you to make sure you put that pretty side up, make sure you mirror your design, and it's telling you that you're going to use the fine point blade and click the go button. So we've already done that. And then it's telling you to cut your design away. We've already done that. And see, I like to go right through these directions and just double check, make sure I'm all set to go. Telling you how to weed it by doing that rolling and crackling method. And it's telling you to make sure that the clear liner is not going to extend beyond the EasyPress plate. What is important when you are doing a design with your EasyPress, you want to make sure that design is smaller than the base plate of your EasyPress. The reason for that is when you repress an Infusible ink design, it's going, each time you repress it, it's going to take some of that vibrancy away. So if you're pressing here and then you pick it up and move it over here, where that overlap, it could make a line that's going to be a little bit less vibrant than the last press. So you don't want to overlap your pressing if you can help it. So keep that design within the width of whatever EasyPress that you're using. So that's what that step means. Okay, so now it's telling you step 3, this is where you're at, where we are at, and it tells you to get your EasyPress ready, which is what we just did. So the next thing that it's telling you to do is to put your EasyPress mat on top of, or your apparel on top of an EasyPress mat. Now, you all know when you're doing onesies, you want to make sure that you can get those seams of the neckline and the right here. These, it's best if you can get those off the edge of the EasyPress, or off the edge of the mat. I'm wondering if I can get this. This is a pretty small one, so I'm going to see if I can get this over the mat. And that will just make sure that I don't get those seams in the way of my pressing area. You want to have a nice flat pressing area. So let's see. And I could have used my smaller EasyPress for this, but I'm going to use this one. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to get in the way of that neckline. All right, so it's telling you to get your shirt or your bodysuit, whatever, up, elevated up so that you're not going to be pressing on the seams. And then it's telling you to take a piece of cardstock and place it inside the onesie or the project, the t-shirt. So you're going to slip a piece of cardstock. I'm slipping that right inside here. Going to slip that right inside, and that's going to protect any ink from going through your design and getting on your EasyPress mat or on the back of the shirt if you don't have the mat inside of the shirt. The next thing that it's going to tell you, and this is very, very important, do not skip this step, is to use a clean sheet on a lint roller. So I'm going to take this one off. Used this one yesterday. You want a clean lint roller sheet, and you want to lint roll your project. The reason for this is the infusible ink actually puts ink into the fabric. It seeps down into the fabric. So if you have lint or pet hair on your project, that ink is not going to go into your project and instead is going to go on the lint. So once that lint comes off, the ink's going to come off. So you want to make sure that you have it lint-free as much as possible. So don't skip this step ever. All right, so the next thing that it's going to tell us to do is to put the butcher paper over the t-shirt. And I'm getting that neck line up there. I'm going to push this down a little bit. Trying to keep those seams from hindering my press. All right, there we go. So we've got the cardstock inside or underneath. Then we're going to put our butcher paper over it. Now you want to make sure that the butcher paper is bigger than the heat press. This is going to keep because we're working with such high temperatures and such, 2 different presses to preheat. This is going to keep from burning your project. So make sure that the project is fully covered with the butcher paper where the heat press is going to hit. So we're going to pick it up, put it down for 15 seconds. Now I had that set on 40, so I'm just going to watch it. And what this is going to do is pull any moisture out of the project. It's going to absorb it into this butcher paper, and it's going to prepare our design for the application. So we're going to remove that and let this cool down a little bit. Okay, once this is cooled down, I am going to trim this so that it's pretty close to the design because I have separate layers going on there and I want to make sure everything is covered. Now this has your ink transfer sheet already on it and it has a sticky back on it. If you feel like you don't have enough sticky after you trim it down to make it stick, you can use some of the Cricut heat transfer tape to give it additional staying power, but I think I'm going to be okay. So we're going to put our design face down. Again, my apparel piece has cooled completely. So we're going to put that face down and it's sticky, so it's staying in place the way I want it. And we're going to take this one and I'm going to put that right here. And of course you can measure. I'm an eyeball kind of gal. So we're going to stick that down, stick that down. And once you have everything lined up the way you want it, you're going to put that butcher paper back over the top. And we're going to pick up the press, and I'm not doing it yet because I want to make sure that you understand you need to pick up the press, put it straight down. Don't do any kind of ironing motion or sliding motion. You just want to put it down, and it needs to stay very still during the pressing process and during the lifting process. We're just going to lift straight up and put it down. You do not want to move it at all. That could create a ghosting to your design. So what I recommend doing, or what I do, is just pick it up, put it down, and then I take my hands off of it just to keep myself from accidentally moving it. So what we're going to do is pick it up, put it straight down, make sure our entire design is going to be covered with the EasyPress, put it down, press the timer, and I'm going to carefully remove my hands because I don't want to mess it up. So we're going to let that count down for 40 seconds. And it is definitely normal for your temperature to drop when you're putting it down. This is hot, this is not hot. So when you put something hot against something that isn't, it's going to temporarily drop that temperature. So don't flip out about that. That's totally normal for it to temporarily drop, and it's not going to be a problem. So we're letting this count down for 40 seconds. Once it's counted down, we're going to lift it straight up and put it back in the cradle, making sure we didn't move it side to side. And then you can remove the butcher paper. And we're going to let this cool down completely. Now in the directions, while we're letting this cool, I want to point out in the directions it says never reuse your butcher paper. You can reuse your butcher paper as long as there is no ink on it. Once you get ink on your butcher paper or your piece of cardstock, don't reuse it. That will transfer to another project when you reheat it. What happens when you heat it up is it turns into a gas, and that will activate the ink again and it will transfer to another project. So you don't want to reuse your cardstock or your butcher paper once you have ink on it. All right, once this is cooled down, you can go ahead and remove the transfer sheet carefully and reveal your amazing design. Now sometimes when you remove your design, one of these pieces will stick, and that's fine. You can just use your tweezers and pick that back up. But how cute is this? Let's take our cardstock out and our mat, and look how adorable this is. So this is permanently infused into the fabric. You can't feel it whatsoever. It's as soft as the fabric is. And by the way, the baby onesies are very, very soft. And you can't feel it on the inside. You can't feel it on the outside. It's permanently infused into the fabric. And that's the beauty of it. It's going to last as long as this onesie lasts. So you can machine wash these inside out with a mild detergent. They recommend tumble dry or line dry. Don't use fabric softener, dryer sheets, or bleach on them. But this will outlast the shirt. This design is not going to go anywhere. The Cricut Infusible ink products will be available exclusively at Michael's beginning June 16th online, and they will be in Michael's stores beginning June 21st. I do have links below the video. Clicking those links helps support this channel, and I really do appreciate it. But make sure, either way, you check it out and look at the incredible inspiration that they've already got available on Michael's website. So again, just a couple tips. Make sure you check out the Infusible ink guide on help.cricut.com. You can, at the bottom of each of the directions for each of the blanks, there are PDF directions that you can print out if you want. If you would like to have that next to you, I recommend just keeping it up on the screen or print it out as you're working on it so that you can just kind of check it off and make sure that you've got everything covered accordingly. Make sure you followed all the directions. Also, that Cricut.com/heat guide, that's going to give you all of the directions for both the EasyPress 1 and the EasyPress 2. So I hope you enjoyed this video on the new Cricut Infusible ink transfer sheets. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to click that bell notification so that you're notified every time there is a new video. Don't forget to check those links below the video, and thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Never stop making. See you guys. Bye-bye.